Now we stripped away all this functionality, right? We took away all the things that int node could do, so we're going to put it back next. And we're going to do it by adding a couple of simple methods first. They'll be called add first and get first. So let's jump right in. And you're welcome to pause the video and ponder how you might do this. I always, when I watch lectures, I do that, right? When someone's about to code something, I try and anticipate their next moves. Or if I'm watching a math lecture especially, because then I feel like I can better appreciate the thing the teacher is about to do. So in this case, I'm going to have public void add first. And what does this method do? Adds, should have a parameter. Adds x to the front of the list. Okay, how should that work? Well, first, presumably should be a reference to the front of the list. So what I really ought to do is say something like, well, maybe I'll look to my int node or my int list class for inspiration. That might be the easiest way. I'm lazy. I don't want to do any thinking. Size. Here we go. This is what I wanted. So when we added to the front of an int list before, we had something like this. So looking at the same pattern, I can basically say, oh, okay, the first pointer should really just be a new, in this case, int node. I'm going to put in, x in first. And that piece of code is just like what we did before. Now, if you didn't quite understand the sleight of hand I did to build this method, right? If you don't quite get what this line of code is actually saying, well, the previous lecture we spent a little more time with it. I'm not going to go through it in great detail again, but remember you can always put this code through the visualizer and see what's going on. I could, no, but I won't, because it's in the previous lecture, but you can break this up into multiple lines, and that's an exercise you might do in order to help understand it. So that's what add first should look like. What about get first? That one will actually be a little easier. So this one returns the front, or the first item in the list. Okay, and so in this case, that's pretty straightforward. All we need to do is say, whatever the first reference goes to, whatever int node that is, we'll just return that, that int node's item. And this right here gives us our SLL list. Okay. So suppose we wanted to make a list of the numbers. We still have a main? Yes, I'll move it down. So let's suppose we wanted to, sorry about all the scrolling. Okay. Get you situated. All right, so here's my class, there's my constructor, add first, get first. So main, when we want to make a list of, say, the numbers 5, 10, 15, it might look something like this. L.addFirst10, L.addFirst 5. And now if I print get first, hopefully I should get back 5. So I run this, and I get 5. Great. So let's compare what we did in this context right here. This is SLList, right? This is all the code we just wrote. This is the int node class. This is the example usage we just wrote. Let's compare what we did with this clothed or non-naked recursive data structure with what we would have done before, okay? On the right, we see what it's like to use a naked recursive data structure. You want to add something to the front? Well, L equals new int list L comma 10. By contrast, with our SList, we say L.addFirst and put in the number 10. So hopefully it's clear when you look at this. This just reads easier, particularly if you're a novice. Now again, there are some programmers who prefer and enjoy programming that looks and feels like this, and they're not wrong, but the normal Java convention is something like what we see on the left. So a visual picture of this whole story, on the left, or sorry, on the top, we see the naked recursive data structure, where crucially, anytime we're working with a list, we have pointers directly into the raw stuff of the list. I may have one variable that points to the front of the list, another variable that, my phone's ringing. Hello, hi, you're in a video on the internet forever.
What?
Oh, I was recording a video for class.
Oh.
So I'll call you right back. To continue, the user of the int list has pointers potentially directly into the naked recursive data structure, which requires them to understand recursion. Whereas the user of the SList has a middleman to go through. So if you want the first item, you call get first, and ideally, there's no way around this middleman.